The incredible story of Jacob, the man who wrestled with God. Have you ever reached a moment so dark, so desperate that you found yourself wrestling, not with people, not with circumstances, but with God Himself? Tonight, we uncover one of the most mysterious and powerful stories in the Bible. The story of Jacob, the man who literally wrestled with God and came out transformed forever. Before we dive deep into this life-changing encounter, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video if you believe that God can turn struggles into blessings. Because Jacob's story proves that the battle you fight today could be the blessing you receive tomorrow. Our story begins long before the wrestling match. Back in the ancient land of Canaan, where Isaac, the son of Abraham, lived with his wife Rebekah. Rebekah was pregnant with twins, but something unusual was happening inside her womb. The Bible says, the children struggled together within her. And God told her, 2 nations are in your womb, the older will serve the younger. From the very beginning, Jacob and Esau were destined for conflict. When the twins were born, Esau came out first, red and hairy, a hunter, a man of the field. But Jacob came out holding his brother's heel, symbolic of his desire to rise above, to grasp what he believed was his destiny. His very name meant the one who grasps, or the deceiver. Jacob grew up clever and calculating. He was the thinker, the schemer, the quiet strategist, very different from his rugged brother Esau. But beneath that calm surface burned a deep hunger, a hunger for blessing, identity, and purpose. One day Esau returned home from hunting, exhausted and starving. Jacob was cooking a pot of stew, rich, red, and steaming. Esau begged, "Please give me some of that stew." But Jacob saw an opportunity. He said, "Sell me your birthright." The birthright meant inheritance, authority, and spiritual leadership of the family. Esau, blinded by his hunger, replied, "What good is a birthright if I die of hunger?" And just like that, he traded something eternal for something temporary. Jacob had taken the first step toward the destiny he longed for. But the story didn't end there. Years later, as their father Isaac grew old and blind, Jacob, helped by his mother Rebekah, disguised himself as Esau to steal the blessing meant for his brother. He wore Esau's clothes, covered his hands with goat skin, and tricked his father into giving him the covenant blessing of Abraham. When Esau discovered the deception, his rage burned like fire. He swore to kill Jacob. And so, Jacob fled, running from home, from his brother, and from the consequences of his deceit. As Jacob journeyed alone into the wilderness, night fell. He lay down on the bare ground, using a stone as a pillow. But that night, something extraordinary happened. Jacob dreamed of a ladder reaching from earth to heaven, with angels ascending and descending upon it. And at the top stood God Himself, saying, "I am the Lord, the God of Abraham and Isaac. I will give you this land, and your descendants will be as numerous as the dust of the earth. I am with you and will never leave you." Jacob awoke trembling. He said, "Surely the Lord is in this place and I did not know it." He named that place Bethel, meaning house of God. It was there that Jacob's journey of transformation truly began. A journey from deceit to destiny, from running to wrestling. Jacob arrived in the land of his uncle Laban, where he met the love of his life, Rachel. But destiny had more lessons for him. Jacob worked 7 years to marry Rachel, but on the wedding night, Laban deceived him, just as Jacob had once deceived his own father. Instead of Rachel, Laban gave him her sister Leah. To marry Rachel, Jacob worked another 7 years. Deception had come full circle. Jacob learned what it felt like to be tricked, to labor for what seemed just out of reach. He spent 20 years under Laban's roof, enduring hardship, building wealth, and fathering 12 sons, the future tribes of Israel. But one day God spoke, "Return to the land of your fathers and I will be with you." Jacob obeyed. But one fear still haunted him, Esau. As Jacob approached his homeland, he heard that Esau was coming to meet him, with 400 men. Fear gripped his heart. He sent gifts ahead, divided his family, and prayed desperately for God's protection. That night, alone by the river Jabbok, Jacob wrestled, not with a man, not with an enemy, but with a mysterious being. The Bible says, a man wrestled with him until daybreak. This was no ordinary man. Jacob fought with all his strength, sweat, tears, and pain, but his opponent would not yield. As dawn approached, the man touched Jacob's hip and dislocated it with a single touch. Yet Jacob held on. Bleeding, limping, trembling, he cried out, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." And the man said, "What is your name?" Jacob replied, "Jacob." Then the man declared, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men, and have prevailed." Jacob realized he had wrestled with God Himself. He named the place Peniel, meaning face of God. And as the sun rose, Jacob limped away, no longer the deceiver but a man forever changed by divine encounter. When Jacob finally met Esau, the moment he had dreaded for years, something miraculous happened. Instead of revenge, Esau ran to meet him, embraced him and wept. All the years of anger and pain melted away in one act of forgiveness. Jacob, the man who once grasped and deceived, had finally learned what it meant to surrender, to God, to truth and to love. Jacob's story is not just about an ancient man, it's about us. We all wrestle with fear, guilt, pride or uncertainty. But like Jacob, our greatest battles often lead to our greatest blessings. Sometimes God doesn't remove the struggle. He meets us in it. He lets us wrestle, not to destroy us but to transform us. Jacob entered that night as a deceiver and left as Israel, the father of a nation. So if you're in a season of struggle, remember this. Your limp can become your testimony. Your weakness can reveal God's strength. And your wrestling can lead to your destiny. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button, subscribe for more powerful Bible stories and share this video with someone who needs hope today. Because sometimes, the fight that breaks you is the very fight that blesses you.